Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My goodness, shout out to everybody in the chat. I had to take, a little break because that was an interesting live we had today. Shout out to that panel that was up there joining us. I know the Glare, Ikamel, SF Investigates. That was a great panel to have had. And shout out to all the members and all the subbies and all the mods. Shout out to the new mods. I mean, these mods were helping us in the chat because we had a lot of people in there, right? And they were modding. They were modding. Look, I wanted to talk a little bit about this that was brought to my attention, first of all, because people were coming into my chat, bringing attention to this issue of Patreon, gory photos. How dare Annie Elise? And, we got to go after Annie Elise now. And I was like, oh, really? Well, what had happened? And then I started looking. So I was tagged and then I was sent emails and comments. I said, what is everybody talking about? Right. And then I went into Annie Elise Twitter, which we don't follow each other. I don't really know Annie Elise like that. Don't have anything against her. I mean, I don't have a relationship with her, so there's nothing that I could really. Annie Elise is not holding anything over my head, so to speak, right? I tell you how I feel. Nobody's holding anything over my head. I say what I say, and I say it when I want to. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I've always kind of been that way. Nobody's paying me. I wish some of these people would pay me, but they don't. But that being said, something caught my attention, and I tweeted about it yesterday. I said I saw Annie's post, and it was like, it takes a special kind of person to try and call you out and spread lies about you, but then block you from responding. And then I retweeted her tweet, and I said, well, why block her? She's willing to answer. So people were hitting me up about what Annie was doing. And I was trying to understand, like, who blocked who. I don't know. I mean, she's not dropping a name or anything like that. So I was just curious, who is everybody talking about? Who's everybody talking about? Well, then I was sent, thank you so much, Jen, for the $9.99, and all the beautiful members. Shout out to you guys. I didn't saw this video. Where's it at? This one. And I think I gave Mr. Harsh Reality about 5 or 6 views because I rewatched it and I watched it and I watched it again because I was trying to understand the comparison to what's been going on, right? In this video, I was very lost because he's talking about two people. He's talking about Jennifer Coffindaffer, the former FBI agent who's all over News Nation giving, commentary on everything. A lot of people are not necessarily fans of Miss Jennifer, and, to each his own. I'm not a fan of Nancy Grace, but I still have a emoji of her, and she gives a lot of commentary and says a lot of crazy shit. Shout out to her. All right. And he made the comparison to Annie Elise, 10 to Life. And I said, well, what's going on here? I'm gonna play a couple minutes of this because it really intrigued me. And then I was watching and watching. And I was just so lost by what was going on here. Okay. So let me play.
How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. Do you know what else is beautiful? You are. That's right, you are. And look, we're going to get straight into the meat and potatoes because we've got a fair bit to talk about. This is
It's intriguing. It's always wonderful when the icon calls you beautiful. You else is, everybody. I'm like, wow, yeah, he's got the icon hat. Love it. I got to give me one. I used to have one with the little sticky that said icon, and then I switched it over to media, but hey, whatever.
Highly requested video. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to give you it. I'm going to give it to you. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the interview between Jennifer Coffin Dodger and Annie, I don't do anything wrong, I'm sweet and innocent, Elise. What do I mean? Look, I am what I am. Do you know what I mean? Some people are going to, I'm like Marmite. You're either going to love me or hate me. But, people complain about my swearing. I don't give a fuck. I will not.
I like swearing. I do it all the time. I find it to be very, very a great coping mechanism, especially when no one's around. I do. So I wouldn't complain about that.
I'll try and pretend to be someone else just to get by on this platform. I'd rather have 10,000 subscribers of people who are subscribing because it's me, real me, than a million subscribers because I'm a fake ass motherfucker.
No one wants to
But what
be
I'm going to say is,
a
who
fake
are we
motherfucker. Let's not be a fake ass motherfucker, but okay.
talking about? Who are these two people? Who is Jennifer Coffin Dodger and Annie Elise? Well, Annie Elise is someone who was very sneakily removed amidst the Zav Girl saga. Her own situation that she done the exact same thing with Adrian Jones. That's correct. Adrian Jones, who she uploaded pictures of his. It's the same thing.
Let me stop right there. Does anybody know what happened to Adrian Jones? You know what? Let me do a poll. Do you guys know about the Adrian Jones case? Okay, let's do that. I want to know. I have over almost 400 people here, or 400 people. Do you know? Let's see. Do you know about the Adrian Jones case? Let me know. Vote. You do. Okay, then you should be voting, please. And while you're voting, please hit the like button. Thank you. Okay, everybody? Some people compare it to the Gabriel Hernandez case. Matter of fact, I believe timeline is very similar. Gabriel Hernandez was all over Netflix. If you have not watched, it's horrific. It's a horrific case of child abuse. And this is also no different. The difference is that Gabriel Hernandez got a lot more media because of Netflix. It occurred in Kansas City. This is where this case, Adrian Jones. Everybody, let me know. Y'all vote, please, please do. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna check the poll now. Let me see. Where are we at? Okay, let's see where are we at. Oh, that's not what I meant to move. Here we go. I need to get me a. Okay, here it is. I have 198 votes. 34% said yes, and 66% said no. 200 people are still. We have 445 people in the chat. 33% said yes, they know the Adrian Jones case, and 67% said no. It still shows, even though we have about half of the numbers on this poll, that a good percentage of you are not necessarily familiar with the Adrian Jones case. And I was like, whoa, people don't know about this case. What did Annie do? In this right here, it says, I understand that the content in this video may be sensitive and potentially triggering for some individuals. Please be aware of the sensitive and then right? Let's keep playing.
And hid it behind a $1 paywall.
$1 paywall.
Paywall.
Yeah.
So look, that's who you're dealing with. So if you're watching this video now and you think, I can't support Zav Girl because of what she did, it was disgusting, no morals, evil. They are words that have been put out there by this, this boy, Gannon's father.
Al Stout. Al said that. I know that community. I've worked in El Paso. In Pueblo, I've worked there. So this was a huge case. It really was. But yeah, some cases get to us a little bit different. But hey.
As being evil. So, Annie Elise, unless you're hypocritical, should be tarred with the same exact brush. Mm. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be getting it all wrong.
No, you can't.
But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Annie done exactly the same thing. And amidst all this, she removed it, got rid of it, got shot of it.
She did the exact same thing. And in the midst of, she removed it. She got rid of it. Okay. That's what he said, right? Same thing. All right.
That's that one. And then we have Le Coffin d'Auger.
You know what? And I recommend. So then he goes into this long tangent about the Idaho 4 and kind of mentions both. And it just made me wonder after watching it 5 or 6 times. And I said, what? I'm lost. I'm lost, right? My understanding is that she deleted it. That's what so I did a little digging and was trying to find out information, and she removed it. But see, I don't like people playing with my emotions, right? I was ready to be like, all right, Annie Elise, let's go. And then I did some digging, a little bit further than what's kind of said. I had some questions. I kind of wondered if Mr. Harsh had actually seen the Patreon. And then I was kind of wondering too what other folks had seen from this Patreon. Because if you guys remember when the Zav Girl situation happened, it happened directly out of people being outraged from what they saw on that very Patreon that was out there. That there was a FOIA request and these photos were put up there, right? So I was just curious. I said, well, what did Harsh see from that Patreon? What did everybody see? Did we see autopsy photos? No, because there wasn't any. So was something FOIA? No. Okay. What was seen? See, if you look into the Adrian Jones case a little bit more, you'd start to find out that this boy was tortured. Okay? He was starved. He was tortured to death. And when you even look deeper, you realize that the family that was supposed to care for him and love him would actually take footage of the torture. And God knows if they put it up on the dark web, God knows where they put these footages out. There's a lot of, if you type in his name, his footage is out there. So I was a little like, well, okay, did Annie Elise get some of that dark web? I'm just thinking out loud. Well, did she get some of that dark, web footage and then put it on Patreon? I started, picking up some understanding and reviews of what actually happened. A lot of the news media, when this case was going on, received some of that footage that was out there. It was made public. There were lawsuits that happened afterward. I mean, Children's Services was sued over that case. It led to reform in Kansas City over Adrian Jones because people saw the abuse and they ignored it. And there was footage out there. So I want to know, Mr. Harsh, did you see the footage or not? Or are you just saying that she did the same thing because Zav Girl did a similar thing, that she put it on her $1 Patreon? And if that's the case, should we go after every YouTuber that has a Patreon that is putting content? Because then Miss Christina Randall might be next. Who else? Who else is using Patreon at this point? Because the images, there wasn't any images of autopsy. There wasn't any FOIA on the Adrian Jones case. What images did she put up there? Did she sell for $1? And were these images already available to the public? That's what I want to know. This is what I'm saying. Don't let people play on your emotions. Okay? Don't let people play on your emotions. I'm going to tell you guys the other research that I was able to pull. Okay? This is from an actual Kansas City, KSHB news outlet. This was published in 2017. And it was so severe and graphic. All of these images that were released, not only by mainstream media, everybody was releasing them. Some of which could not be put on YouTube because the abuse consisted of, it was just horrendous. There were dead animals, dead, things that YouTube wouldn't necessarily allow you to have it up there. But because some of these images were already out there, news medias were picking them up and actually putting them on various sites. Okay, if you go to YouTube and you type in Adrian Jones, you can actually see creators putting thumbnails of little Adrian Jones in the footage when he was being abused. And if we're going to be mad, let's really get mad, because if you read into the case, his legacy, his family said they did not want him to be known as the kid that was fed to the pigs. That's this case. Let me read you the editorial note. This was back in 2017. And it says, this story contains graphic and disturbing images which have not been seen by the public until now. So they released all these images in 2017 on their own website. We're going to see, you guys are going to see exactly what I'm talking about because this is out there. We struggle to decide what images to include, and they are hard for us to see. We're not trying to be salacious or sensational by publishing them, and we do not want to further victimize anyone involved. Our goal is accountability. The social and government systems, which, by the way, they both failed little Adrian, that should protect children have failed Adrian Jones. By publishing this series, we hope to shine a light on these possible failures. So they did a whole thing on CPS and everything. A lot of people know this little boy, even though that is not his legacy, as the kid who was fed to pigs. Okay, completely. And feel free, I will link this whole little expose in the description box for those that want to see. But this just gives you an idea of how these pictures, a lot of these images were already out there. Okay, so I want to know, here's one. There you go. Website, there you go. All of it. There was surveillance. This picture specifically is on people's thumbnails. It's out there. She removed the video, I'm assuming, in this idea that, you know what? Let me just remove. People are gonna think that I somehow FOIA'd or I'm just thinking. I'm thinking out loud, right? That somehow, it just wasn't necessarily a good look, and that's up to her. It doesn't mean that she requested these photos and put them up there. These photos have already been put up there. This baby was 7 years old. You can't come for Annie Elise and not think about all the other YouTubers that had already put this out there. What are you talking about? Go on YouTube. Type in his name and see how many creators have that thumbnail with this picture there. But then again, remember, I'm going to ask you, go back to what the editor said. That the reason why the family and everybody decided to release these photos was to shed the light of what was going on with the systems that are ignoring these kids that need help. To me, I want to know, what did harsh reality tell you that wasn't already out there? That hasn't already, these images have been out there. Is it because it was on a $1 paywall? He talked about hypocrisy. That's one thing I do agree with him. We monetize people's stories and tragedies. We do that. He does it too. We all do it. Good or bad or indifferent. I kind of wonder, and this is why I was so confused. I said, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. He was so mad, right? Like I was trying to understand, well, where's this coming from? Because I guess I'm trying to, like, is he really, really upset, or is he upset that nobody's being held accountable straightforward? Or does he feel like maybe Annie Elise needs to be coming down for whatever? Like, is there something more to this? And I was trying to, or even Jennifer Coffindaffer, right? And I read some of his posts. He says, some of you guys, not all, but some, seem to not like the fact that in my first video today, I called out Annie Elise on the fact that she released graphic content on Patreon of little Adrian Jones in a near identical situation as Zav Girl. No, she did not. How? Does he tell you guys, is it the same because it's on Patreon? Or is it the same because, like, what other similarities? How is it near identical? Can you guys answer me that? How is it near identical? You don't have to be, let me tell you something. You don't have, I don't necessarily, was not necessarily a fan of Annie Elise's Dre McCrae coverage. That's her prerogative. She didn't say, hey, Rabbit, can I ask permission? I don't know the girl. I don't. I've never met, I really never really had anything. But one thing I know here is that if somebody does not like somebody, or somebody sees as competition, or if there's something that they have that the other person wants, immediately, I don't think so. They will look to tear you down. I don't have to do that to Annie Elise. I don't necessarily like the Dre McCrae coverage, but I don't have to tear Annie Elise down or give out false information about her, that she did something very near and similar to Zav Girl. No, she did not. She did not. Context. Thank you. Context is very important. Did Mr. Harsh Reality tell anybody out there how they were the same? How? And he was very quick. I saw a lot of their tweets. He was quick to tag Brian Enton because he wanted to bring that woman down, just like everybody else. Why, Mr. Harsh? What's your beef with her? Why? Y'all don't have to like Annie Elise, truly. But if you're going to crucify her over putting pictures that were already released in 2017, then you better go for all the other. I mean, I'm serious. Christina Randall, there's other Patreons out there, YouTubers, and that say we can't release these photos on YouTube. However, come over here. I'm just wondering. It's not enough to wear an icon hat. You got to be the icon on YouTube. Come on now. Come on now. I'm sorry. Let me continue reading. So Patreon of little Adrian Jones in a near identical situation as Zav Girl. There's no periods in this thing. I'm sorry. So I don't know when to take a break. Do I breathe now or do I breathe later? There's no commas. And I'm not a grammar snob, but I'm like, I can't read the run-ons. Of little Adrian Jones in a near identical situation as Zav Girl has been crucified over and I must add, and that some people who moaned about me calling out we people who had not had 48 hours ago been kicking off at Zap. I guess I'm so confused, but I'm reading them verbatim. I'm just confused. Now look, you know me. I'm not going to call it out. I'm going to call it out. See, I'm now making up words. Now you know me. I'm going to call it out. Okay. Some people may be willing to look the other way or try to attack Zav Girl because it seems the trending thing to do, perhaps. But if you're truly in the belief that what Zav Girl did was horrendous and evil, then how can it be that evil when this person does it, but not if another does it? So what is it that makes it acceptable? Is it the subscriber count? Is it how much you like them? Was it that Zav Girl charged $3 and Annie only charged $1? When are we going to stop getting hung up on that? When are we going to stop? We are all content creators. When are we going to stop getting hung up on the fact that who charged what? Y'all are paying us for the view. I get it. But I get that there's a difference. Some of us put the victim first. Some of us have a little bit more empathy when we touch these cases. Some of us don't badger victims of crime. Some of us don't accuse people of having sex changes during, or even platform somebody that would even put that out there. Just saying. Where am I at? all this passion. I'm losing my train of thought. I bet even the glare won't call it out. Even the glare won't call it out. Well, why is the glare expected to? I mean, shout out to the glare, but I mean, why should he be expected? I mean, it sounds to me that there's no similarities. I think that this is in terms of what's been put out there. If you look at the case, go look at the case. She put images on Patreon that were put out there by other media outlets, and they did that in order to educate that community of what had happened. Similar to what Gabriel Hernandez, we saw some of the most horrific images on Netflix. It's not the same. And she charged $1. Is it that she charged money for this, or is it the fact that, it's Annie Elise? Which one is it? It's wrong to question a young adult why it took them 8 hours to call authorities. Is this Michael Monkey Vaughn? I mean, and then he goes on. It's wrong to question parents of missing child in odd situations. It's wrong to speculate to the potential innocence of Brian Koberger. But depending on who you are, it's cool to sell horrendous pictures of young children. I suppose you could say that at least Annie Elise puts her down, pulled her down. I don't know. I don't know what, but this right here is pretty slanderous. Wouldn't you say? And I mean, he doesn't seem like he's too scared. I mean, if he doesn't tell his audience if he saw those images. At the very least, we knew that some of the community during the Gannon Stout situation had seen some of the images, right? We know that. So I'm trying to understand. Look at this. Then I was like, oh, let me further research. Further. Let me further get lost in this situation. I said, edit to add this statement. I stated in this that it was an nearly identical situation to Zav Girl. It went from same to nearly identical. Now we have some periods here. Thank God. I had also pinned a comment that people did not read. What Annie did was claim to have exclusive images depicting the abuse of a 5-year-old child and charge a $1 fee to join Patreon subscription to view them. The images had already been released before. Go do some research and you will see that. What did she show that had some stuff cannot be shown on YouTube? Some people can get away with it. Okay, we know that. Let me give you guys an example. The Shanquella Robinson video. Okay, I showed it on my channel. Everything was fine up until YouTube started reviewing stuff, and it was blurred, and they took it down. They blurred, even like they were like, you can't show this. That's where it was at. So everybody was showing it unblurred, and then I was showing one that was blurred, and I had an issue with it. So not every situation is the same. This is why I'm saying, are you playing with our emotions? Are you trying to, like, should we go? Listen. I want to know. And look at this, is so interesting. 467 votes, 25% said yes, they knew the Adrian Jones case, and 75% said no. And let me tell you, for those that do not know it, that's 75%. Are you allowing this to carry on your outrage? What Mr. Harsh has put out there? Just want to know. Because if you don't know, based on just doing research, who put out the information out there? What station was it? Why did they put it out there? Why was it so public? Who failed this child? Then you're just going to let one content creator lead your outrage. Even when the Zav Girl thing happened, guess what? I did my own research before I said shit. I didn't let a bunch of content creators lead my charge or play on my outrage. And that's what I mean about this. Do not let people play on your outrage. Even if it's outrage from me, you go do your research and you find out if you're mad about the same thing before saying that, oh, yeah, we're going to drink the Kool-Aid. We're going to do that. Now, furthermore, guys, just Google search Annie Elise and Adrian Jones. Yes, do that. Go ahead. There's a huge abundance of coverage of the outrage on both TikTok and Reddit. It's easy enough to find. Do these TikTokers and Redditors know that other people, there's other YouTubers that are using the images of when this child abuse was happening as their thumbnails? I promise you it's out there. So is the outrage to everybody or just Annie Elise because she happened to put it on Patreon? Maybe some folks didn't like her coverage. I don't know. I didn't necessarily, I get it. I have no relationship with this lady. I get it. But I just find it mighty funny that Harsh is going to tag Brian Enton. Why tag Brian Enton? When I say hypocrisy, I weren't kidding. You let these folks play on your outrage. Go ahead. Let's keep reading further, okay? Here's a post. Just for clarity, excuse me. See, I can't even read. Just for clarity, it was not autopsy pictures that were released. Oh, okay. Well, they were not. Those unfamiliar with Adrian's case, Adrian was a little boy who suffered horrendously from abuse, and there was multitude of images that you could see access online. If you're unfamiliar with the case, you know. However, what Annie did was she advertised the fact that she had exclusive images that seemingly differed from the ones that were already publicly available. And she advertised the fact that these could be seen by joining Patreon. Okay, so are we mad at the fact that Annie Elise might have done some clickbait about having some exclusive that maybe other folks didn't? What's the anger? Harsh, what's the anger? Which one is it? Are we mad that she put it up in the tier? Are we mad that I want to know. Which one is it? This caused huge backlash online if you search it yourself. There is an abundance of coverage of this online, the response to Annie on the likes of TikTok. Okay. Why don't you talk about that? Now, I have been warned that because I've mentioned this, it is likely I will be sued, as apparently others were treated when they mentioned this previously. So I just want to put this out there. Sue me. You will run out of money long before I do. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Oh. But it shouldn't be about the goose or the gander. It should be about the fact that you said, hold up. Let me go back. Sometimes it's the ADHD. Let me try this again. It is not autopsy photos that were released. All right. Let's get rid of everything else after that. However, what Annie did was she advertised the fact that she had exclusive images that seemingly differed from the ones that were already publicly available. So you're upset that Annie Elise clickbaited? I mean, did you just tell on yourself? Thank you. I thought I was the only one that was noticing the flip to the flop to the flip to the flop. Anybody else notice that? Which one was it? Don't let these people play on your outrage, myself included. That's why I said go do your research. Go do your research. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And it's interesting because shout out to Jules of All Trades. I love that girl. Love her coverage. I don't, I shout out to her. And you guys check her out. But even Jules, I mean, she was like upset and rightfully so, because I was like, damn, okay, like what's going on, right? And she called out Annie, and she called out Brian Enton, as I would have too. I definitely would have, right? And then I was like, okay, yeah. She calls her out. Care to explain yourself? Brian Enton, is there something you're going to say about this too? How the fuck did this go under the radar? Thank you, Harsh Reality, for bringing this out. I said, oh, damn. Okay. I said, all right, then this is serious, right? We got to look into it. Because I was outraged when I was reading this. And then I saw Annie's post. I said, ay, la chingada. You got to be kidding me in my Spanish curse words, okay? Because, my brain switches to both. Annie Elise response. Because harsh reality has decided to block, excuse me, because harsh reality has decided to make serious and defamatory accusations and then block me, skip the sentence, from responding, I will respond here. Harsh, if you were calling this woman out, why would you block her? Why would you block her? Why would you block her? I have never sold autopsy pictures of graphic images. You guys wanted a statement and she's giving it to you. I have never sold autopsy pictures or graphic images that have not already been shown by mass media outlets. The post you are citing was a video with YouTube approved news clips. I said, I gotta go see those news clips. Let me go see those news clips. I said, you know what? Let me call my 1-800 source. Hey, 1-800 source, what's up with this? What's going on? Family interviews, news images, no additional images / videos than what has already been seen by the public or reported on by media outlets, but rather what YouTube wasn't approving in my videos. The reason I didn't remove the video was because for the non-Patreon members who did not see what the video actually depicted, it could have been perceived that I was selling private, graphic, and videos of abuse and autopsies. I understand that this was due to my own miswording. Shame on you, Annie Elise. I mean, if, sometimes we all clickbait. We tend to do that. Maybe that's what she did here on my original video, which I immediately corrected and clarified via a pinned comment and have screenshots of. I would never do that, nor would I ever want anyone to think that I would do something like that. People who have seen the video know that there was no such content in it. Everyone is welcome to come to their own conclusion, but those are the facts. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to email me. Can you guys go email her if you have questions? Go email her. This is a very serious accusation, and I won't continue to breathe life into baseless claims. She gave everybody a response. Y'all go and email her. Welcome to the true crime community. We all profit out of somebody's pain and suffering. Some people will tell you that that's not the case, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Okay? Some of us have a little bit more empathy. Some of us have maybe a little bit more ethics to our coverage, but it's the truth. Everybody does it. Let me see. Let me show you. I was looking into these news clips and I said, what news clips? What's going on? And then I'm finding all of these news clips. I mean, that's the reality of it. I want everybody to know. Okay? Everybody here, we're in true crime. But I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I don't monetize my videos that are related to death, suffering, pain, victims, suspects. That is the true crime sector. That's what we do. I feel like I have a little bit more maybe insight to victims as a master's in social work, undergraduate in criminology. It's truth. But that's just me. Let me show you some of these news clips. And apparently, this is what was put out there.
Exposing the untold story of Adrian Jones, a boy abused to death by his own parents.
Tonight, in a 41 Action News exclusive, we have learned that the state may have let his case slip through the cracks.
Investigator Jessica McMaster dug deeper to find out if the state failed the 7-year-old. Jess?
Adrian's grandmother says in the months leading up to his death, She contacted the state. Now, a former employee of Child Services is coming forward for the first time about the issues within the department she says are putting children at risk. The images are sickening, disturbing.
There you go.
Shocking.
Images.
7-year-old Adrian Jones,
There you go.
abused and eventually murdered. With Adrian's dad and stepmom now locked away. Why didn't the state step in after...
Those were just a few of the images. Shall we keep going? Absolutely. Oh, Margaret, I'm not attacking. I'm trying to question why there's so much outrage. I don't know if you missed that part, but let me know. Let me know. This was a huge case, okay? But it's unfortunate because it didn't receive a whole lot of coverage as well.
Several people say they called in warnings.
So he fell through the cracks.
He fell through. Yes, I believe so.
It haunts Adrian's grandmother, Judy Conway.
I've always tried to be there for my grandkids.
Every moment of every day.
Trying to figure out exactly what happened and how the system failed him.
The system, Kansas Department for Children and Families, an agency designed to protect children. Conway says she contacted them in the months leading up to Adrian's death after the Joneses cut off contact.
I really truly believe that there's been numerous calls made to DCF.
After Adrian died, several people came forward telling the 41 Action News investigators they did contact DCF.
Child Services was involved several times.
This woman did not want to show her face. She tells us she witnessed Adrian's stepmom forcing him to stand for hours with his hands above his head.
Yes.
But Adrian's grandmother can't prove any of it. DCF won't give her Adrian's file, a file they've confirmed exists.
That has just blown my mind, made me really terribly angry.
How many times was the agency called? Were any of those calls followed up on? Did a social worker ever visit the home and see little Adrian like this?
We need to know those things.
The 41 Action News investigators made several attempts to get Adrian's file. Each one denied, told the court sealed Adrian's records. So we asked DCF for the number of hotline calls made to the home. Denied, telling us they don't track by address. We wanted to talk to Secretary of DCF, Phyllis Gilmore, about how Adrian's horrific abuse went undetected. That request denied.
It's unconscionable.
A former deputy director for DCF, Diane Keach, agreed to speak with us. She says after nearly 2 years on the job, she quit because of how the department handles cases like Adrian's.
I have personally reviewed numerous deaths in Kansas where we missed it.
Keach says the bigger problem is that the agency tries to cover it up.
She did not feel like we should document anything related to a child death.
Keach says she was constantly directed by the attorney for DCF to avoid a paper trail after mistakes were made.
She wanted to only have verbal conversations over the phone. If we took handwritten notes, we were instructed to shred them afterwards. I was outraged at the time, and I just felt like there was just no way I was going to be able to bring any change.
So that should give it at least an idea of the images that were out there. They were purposely put out there, okay? The parents of this child, they would take footage of the abuse, all right? And God knows if further abusive images were put out there by them, very likely. I want to talk about Miss Christina Randall, who also has a Patreon, and just read this, okay? YouTube terms and policies have gotten so strict over the years. Here I will post videos they ban, restrict, demonetize, etc. I will also post receipts to future videos that wouldn't be appropriate for YouTube videos. We also review and discuss some of the worst crime scene photos here. You will get at least one video a month on this tier. Must be 18 to join. No private message option. You will get at least one video a month and access to all my videos that are already uploaded under that tier. So, Harsh already said she didn't post any autopsy photos. He said it on his post, okay? Has he made a video addressing it? I don't know. Has he? Has he talked about the fact that he recanted that? Has he, Anybody? Anybody? What Zav Girl did was post autopsy photos. She deflected from the apology further. Okay? Keep that in mind. She pinned a comment that further allowed her to deflect from that apology. I don't know if you guys remember that, but she did. She pinned it, she hearted it, she liked it. Somebody was excusing her behavior. There's a difference between what Zav Girl did versus what is going on here. These pictures were made public to bring awareness to that case. Now, if you have a problem with the fact that they were put behind Patreon, then we're going to have to go after every creator. If you have a problem with the true crime community, then we're going to have to go after every creator. A lot of this is, where does your ethics stand? Where do you stand? I don't like being misinformed. That's one. Don't play with my outrage. Don't play with my passion. Don't tell me something and then say something different, because then we have a problem. I may not like a lot of people. There's some people here I'm like, damn, I don't like you. Period. That's it. But I'm not going to go after them over my disliking of them. Don't necessarily like them, what they do. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of Dre McCray coverage, but that is her opinion. That's it. I don't have a relationship with Annie Elise. I don't. I'm giving you an unbiased perspective of how I see this. I'm not a fan of Harsh either. I don't like his coverage on stuff. I don't. But you can't tell people that what she did was nearly similar or the same, and then take it back and say something different, that it was not autopsy pictures that were released. Those unfamiliar with the Adrian case, we already know, yada, yada, I told everybody, what Annie did was she advertised the fact that she had an exclusive image that seemingly differed from the one that were already publicly available. And she advertised the fact that that these could be seen by joining her Patreon. Okay. So prove that she had something different or something. Prove it. I'm challenging you guys. Prove it. Because people are already ready to take down this woman. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I want to know. I got tags. I mean, I was ready. I said, I'm ready. I'm ready. What's going on? But don't misinform the people here. Don't. Which one is it, Mr. Harsh? Now I have a question. Did Harsh Reality, and it's going to be in the poll, misinform his audience about Annie Elise? And I'm going to put in here different options. Yes, he did. Yes, but I don't like Annie. No, he didn't. I'm curious to know, based on what I've showed you. We got 529 people here. Make sure you vote. Let me know your thoughts. I want to know. I want to know. Let me read some of these comments before I look at the poll again. Exactly. I mean, Gen Stout, you cannot compare. It's like apples and oranges. This is why I think information is important. This is why, I mean, even anything that I say, go fact check it. Okay? Go check it. You're not offending me. You're not hurting my feelings. I got people that correct me every day. They tell me, Rabbit, you're wrong. Okay, cool. Let me go double check this because I might be wrong about something. Go check it. Look at my hair. All that BioSilk is doing a little too much. Let me know your thoughts. Oh, Olivia, I don't know. A click in a view is a click in a view. That's what I'm going to say to that. He misinformed on every case person I've noticed he covered. Well, sounds good, Tammy. Shout out to Tammy. If you, those that don't know these people, that's absolutely fine. If you cannot vote, I appreciate you. So many great questions. Amy, thank you. Listen, I don't know. I know he does a lot of coverage on the Idaho 4, Brian Koberger. I mean, what? I'm not saying that this man is guilty. I'm saying the cartel ain't got nothing to do with that case. Okay. My uncle, El Chapo, has nothing to do with that case. Y'all leave my uncle alone. He's over there hanging out in Colorado. You don't have to like any of them. You don't have to like any of them. This isn't what that's about. There's probably a lot of people that don't like me or like you. Do you want people to discredit you because they don't like you? Or would you prefer that they discredit you because you actually did something to be discredited for? That's the difference. Just saying. Let me see where everybody's at. Okay? Let's see. Let's see. Look at this. 195 votes. 81% said yes, he did. 9% said yes, but I don't like Annie. Okay? 11% said no, he didn't. You're entitled to your opinion. It didn't matter if I was going to do this video. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I was curious because you guys were sending me stuff about this topic. I said, I need to go into this. I need to understand. Exactly. I saw that too. Coming from a lawyer. His past with covering Missy Monkey Vaughn and the impact to Brandy and her family is really, in my opinion, anyone else? I do. I do. When you're asking the question in his post, he's asking the question like, what is the difference between X, Y, and Z? The difference is this. You don't need to attack or parent shame. That's another one that happens a lot here. I wouldn't, what if, yada, yada, yada. It goes back and forth on this community. It really does. It really does. CL says, at least you don't mind being fact checked, right? I don't. Annie gets her panties in the water. Well, and that is something CL and anybody else, y'all go email that lady and say, Annie, stop getting your panties in the wad, and I got some feedback for you. Why not? I get it all the time. Why not? You can't be too big to get feedback. This is why I say I don't have a relationship with the lady. You know? Why not? You guys are the community. We're creators in the community, but you subscribers are the community. Y'all make up the community. Your subscription make up the community. Tell this man to tell you exactly what images that were so similar and or alike. That's what I want to know. And then he gives this as a, let me see. It's not autopsy photos. Well, then they're not similar. However, Annie did, what she did was advertise the fact that she had exclusive images. So are you upset that she advertised the fact that she had exclusive images? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Which one is it? Just saying. You know, you don't have to agree with me. Promise you, this is not an echo chamber. I promise. All right, let me look at this poll before I end this live. And I appreciate every one of you guys for listening to me because you don't have to. Okay. You guys make up the community, the subscribers, the members, the mods, every one of you guys. And believe it or not, we are in everyone's algorithm and we all share subs. We do. We might even share haters. We do. That's how it is. 215 votes. 80% said that Mr. Harsh Reality misinformed his audience about Annie Elise. 9% said yes, but I don't like Annie. That's fine. 11% said no, he didn't. That 11% has not moved. Has not moved. Okay? So let me ask you guys a question. Because Mr. Harsh was really, really quick to tag Brian Enton on Annie Elise. Are you going to take this back right here? Are you going to make a video about this? You going to explain yourself on this one? Or are you just going to pretend that it didn't happen? Interesting. She never claimed the content was exclusive. He lied about that. Yeah. What did the title say? More importantly, did you see the content, Mr. Harsh Reality? I have to head out. I hope you guys have a great night. Let me shout out everybody in the house because I missed some of these super chats. I want to read them. SW 600 in the chat, but only 225 likes. Lord have mercy, hit that like button. Zoomer, thank you for becoming a member. Ava, thank you for becoming a member. Quinn B, hi Rabbit. I love you. Glare, Ikmel today on the live. My 3 faves. I can't wait till one of you accepts. Oh, Carly again and have a point. Nobody discussing it. Gotcha. Quimby. Thank you, Quimby, for becoming a member. Gen X, thank you for the $9.99. You guys are awesome. Just a little thought, just a little conversation. And I'm just gonna close and say again, don't let anybody play on your outrage. It happens too much in the true crime community. If somebody's, even myself, if I'm playing on your outrage, log off. It's not good. Rabbits out.